Somewhere under the ocean right now, an American submarine is moving through complete darkness. No cameras can see it. No satellites can track it. No enemy commander knows exactly where it is. And that is the entire point. On the surface, aircraft carriers get all the attention. They are massive. They are visible. They sail with destroyers, cruisers, aircraft, helicopters, and thousands of sailors. They are floating cities of American power. But beneath the waves, the United States has something quieter, something harder to find, something far more terrifying. A nuclear-powered submarine that can stay hidden for months. A hunter that can stalk enemy ships without warning. A missile platform that can strike targets more than 1,000 miles away. And in the darkest version of the mission, a hidden ballistic missile submarine carrying enough nuclear firepower to make any enemy think twice before starting a war. This is the Silent Service, America's undersea force. And in an age where satellites watch the surface, drones hunt ships from the air, and long-range missiles can threaten almost anything above water, the most survivable weapon America owns may not be the aircraft carrier. It may be the submarine no one can find. Today, we are breaking down America's most powerful submarines. The Virginia-class attack submarines, the Hunters, the Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines, the Executioners, and the quiet race now unfolding beneath the ocean, where the next war may be decided before the world even knows it has begun. For decades, the aircraft carrier has been the most visible symbol of American military power. When a crisis happens, one of the first questions people ask is, where are the carriers? That question matters because carriers are political signals. They can be seen. They can be photographed. They can launch aircraft. They can appear near a coastline and send a message without firing a shot. But that visibility is also a weakness. In the modern world, the ocean surface is no longer private. Satellites can monitor naval bases and major shipping routes. Drones can search coastal waters. Long-range anti-ship missiles can threaten ships from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. Underwater sensors, cyber systems, reconnaissance aircraft, and space-based surveillance are all making surface warfare more dangerous. A carrier strike group is powerful, but it is also massive. It creates signatures, radar signatures, infrared signatures, electronic signatures, wake patterns, flight operations, radio traffic, logistics chains. The more visible a weapon becomes, the more ways an enemy has to track it. That is why submarines matter so much. A submarine does not need to announce itself. It does not need to sail in formation to look impressive. It does not need to show up on television. Its power comes from absence. The enemy does not know where it is. They do not know what it is targeting. They do not know when it arrived. And they may not know it was ever there until something explodes. This is why undersea warfare is so important to the United States. The ocean gives submarines something no surface ship can fully have: concealment, depth, silence, and uncertainty. In war, uncertainty is a weapon. If an enemy cannot find the submarine, they cannot easily destroy it. If they cannot destroy it, they must assume it is still there. And if they must assume it is still there, every ship, every naval base, every missile site, and every strategic target becomes vulnerable. That is why the submarine is not just a warship. It is a psychological weapon, a hidden threat moving through the ocean with no need for applause. America's submarine force has two personalities. To understand American submarine power, you need to understand that not all submarines have the same job. The United States Navy operates different types of nuclear-powered submarines, but two roles matter most in this story. The first is the hunter. The second is the executioner. The hunters are attack submarines. Their job is to find, follow, and if necessary, destroy enemy submarines and surface ships. They also gather intelligence. They insert special operations forces. They launch cruise missiles. They operate close to enemy coastlines. They listen. They stalk. They wait. For the United States, the most important modern hunter is the Virginia-class attack submarine. The second type is the ballistic missile submarine. These are the boomers. Their mission is not normal combat. Their mission is deterrence. They hide in the ocean carrying submarine-launched ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads. They exist so that even if an enemy launched a devastating first strike, the United States would still have a hidden force capable of responding. That hidden response is what makes nuclear deterrence work. For decades, this mission has been carried by the Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. But the Ohio boats are aging, and now the United States is building their replacement, the Columbia-class submarine. These two submarine families represent two very different kinds of power. The Virginia-class is tactical, flexible, and aggressive. It can hunt. It can strike. It can spy. It can support special forces. It can operate in deep water or close to shore. The Columbia-class is strategic. It is built around one terrifying idea. You may never find it, but if you attack America, it can answer. That is why these submarines matter more than almost anything else in the U.S. military. One protects American power in conventional war. The other protects the country from nuclear blackmail. One is the hunter. One is the executioner. Together, they form the quiet backbone of American power beneath the sea. The Virginia-class submarine was designed for the wars America actually faces now. Not just open ocean submarine duels, not just Cold War patrols in the deep Atlantic, but a world of shallow coastal waters, intelligence missions, special operations, cruise missile strikes, and adversaries who are building quieter submarines of their own. A Virginia-class submarine is nearly 400 feet long. It displaces close to 8,000 tons submerged. It is powered by a nuclear reactor, allowing it to stay underwater for months, limited mostly by food and crew endurance. That nuclear power is one of its greatest advantages. A diesel-electric submarine must eventually surface or snorkel to recharge batteries, unless it uses advanced air-independent propulsion. But a nuclear submarine can stay submerged and keep moving for an extremely long time. That makes it hard to track, hard to predict, and hard to force out of hiding. The Virginia-class was built to replace older Los Angeles-class attack submarines while adding new capabilities for modern warfare. It can hunt enemy submarines. It can follow surface ships. It can collect intelligence near hostile coastlines. It can launch Tomahawk cruise missiles at land targets. It can deploy unmanned underwater vehicles. It can support Navy SEALs. And it can do all of this while remaining extremely quiet. That silence is not a small detail. For submarines, silence is survival. Every sound matters. The hum of machinery, the movement of water around the hull, the vibration of pumps, the noise of crew systems, the collapse of bubbles behind a propeller. An enemy submarine does not need to see you. It only needs to hear you. That is why the Virginia-class was engineered with obsessive attention to acoustic stealth. Modern submarines do not win by being the loudest. They win by being the last thing the enemy hears, if the enemy hears anything at all. In movies, military power is often shown as speed, explosions, and noise. Jets roar, missiles launch, ships fire, tanks move across the battlefield. But under the ocean, the rules are different. The most dangerous submarine is not always the fastest one. It is the quietest one. Speed can actually be a problem. The faster a submarine moves, the more noise it can create. Water rushing over the hull, machinery working harder, propulsion noise increasing. And if propellers create cavitation, tiny bubbles that form and collapse in the water, the sound can betray the submarine's position. That is why modern submarines are designed to move carefully, quietly, and intelligently. The Virginia-class uses advanced quieting technologies, including a pump jet propulsor instead of a traditional exposed propeller on later blocks. A pump jet helps reduce cavitation and makes the submarine harder to detect acoustically. The submarine also uses quiet machinery, acoustic coatings, carefully isolated equipment, and hull design features meant to reduce sound. But quieting is not only about hardware. It is also about tactics. A submarine commander must understand the ocean itself. Temperature layers, salinity, depth, seafloor shape, currents, background noise, marine life, shipping traffic. The ocean is not empty. It is a constantly changing acoustic battlefield. Sound can bend. It can travel. It can hide. It can expose. A skilled submarine crew uses the ocean like terrain. They can hide beneath thermal layers. They can exploit noisy environments. They can move slowly enough to become nearly impossible to separate from the ocean's background. This is why submarine warfare is often described as a chess game in the dark. No one sees the whole board. Everyone is listening. Everyone is guessing. And the first mistake may be the last. The Virginia-class exists for that game. It is not built to scare people with its appearance. It is built so the enemy never gets the chance to see it. For years, Virginia-class submarines were already dangerous. But the newest versions take the threat to a different level. The key upgrade is the Virginia Payload Module, or VPM. This is an additional hull section inserted into Block V submarines. It adds 4 large-diameter payload tubes. Each of those tubes can carry multiple weapons, including Tomahawk cruise missiles. The effect is dramatic. Earlier Virginia-class submarines had a smaller missile load. But Block V submarines with the Virginia Payload Module can carry up to 40 Tomahawk cruise missiles. That turns a stealthy hunter into a much more powerful strike platform. Now imagine what that means. A submarine hidden somewhere in the ocean can move into position without being seen. It can wait silently. It can receive orders. And then, from below the surface, it can launch a wave of precision cruise missiles at land targets far inland. Command centers, air defense sites, radar stations, missile batteries, naval bases, critical infrastructure, all without the enemy knowing exactly where the submarine was before the launch. This is why VPM matters. It increases firepower without sacrificing the submarine's greatest strength, stealth. The timing is also important. The Navy is retiring its Ohio-class guided missile submarines, massive converted boats that could carry up to 154 Tomahawk missiles. Those submarines gave the United States enormous stealthy strike capacity. But they are aging, and once they leave service, the Navy needs something to help fill the gap. Virginia Block V cannot carry as many missiles as an Ohio SSGN. But it can help replace part of that strike power across a newer, more flexible attack submarine fleet. And the VPM was not designed only for today's weapons. Its large tubes can support future payloads, unmanned underwater vehicles, new missile types, advanced sensors, possibly future hypersonic weapons. That makes the Virginia-class more than a submarine. It becomes an underwater launch platform for technologies that may not even fully exist yet. That is what makes the design so important. The Navy is not just building for today's fight. It is building a submarine that can adapt to the next 30 or 40 years of undersea warfare. If the Virginia-class is the hunter, The Columbia class is something else entirely. It is the executioner. Not because it is meant to fight ordinary naval battles, but because it carries the most serious mission in the U.S. military: nuclear deterrence. The Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine is being built to replace the aging Ohio-class SSBN fleet. It will be the largest submarine ever built for the United States Navy, around 560 feet long, more than 20,000 tons submerged. A massive underwater machine designed not to be seen, not to be heard, and not to be found. Each Columbia-class submarine is designed to carry 16 Trident II D5 submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Those missiles can travel thousands of miles. They are part of the sea-based leg of America's nuclear triad. The nuclear triad is made of three parts: land-based missiles, strategic bombers, and ballistic missile submarines. Each leg exists for a reason. Land-based missiles are fast and hardened, but their locations are known. Bombers are flexible and visible, but they can be tracked and must take off. Submarines are different. They disappear. That is why ballistic missile submarines are considered the most survivable part of the triad. An enemy may know America has them, but they do not know exactly where they are. And that uncertainty is the core of deterrence. If an enemy believes they can destroy America's nuclear forces in a first strike, deterrence becomes unstable. But if they know a submarine will survive somewhere in the ocean, then a first strike cannot guarantee victory. There will be a response. That is the terrifying logic of the Columbia class. Its mission is not to start a nuclear war. Its mission is to make nuclear war unwinnable. That is why these submarines are so important. They are not just weapons. They are insurance against the unthinkable. The Columbia-class program is one of the most expensive and highest priority shipbuilding programs in the United States. And there is a reason for that. This is not a normal submarine. It is a strategic nuclear deterrent platform meant to serve for decades. The class is designed for a service life of about 42 years. Its nuclear reactor is designed to last the entire life of the boat without needing refueling. That matters because refueling a nuclear submarine is expensive, complex, and time-consuming. By eliminating the need for midlife reactor refueling, the Columbia class can spend more of its life available for patrol. And availability is everything for nuclear deterrence. The goal is not simply to own submarines. The goal is to make sure enough of them are always ready, hidden, and on patrol. That requires extreme reliability, extreme stealth, extreme endurance, and extreme engineering precision. The Columbia class also uses an electric drive propulsion system designed to reduce noise and improve stealth. That is critical because the future ocean will be more dangerous than the past. Adversaries are improving their submarine hunting tools. Sensors are getting better. Unmanned underwater vehicles are becoming more common. Data networks are expanding. And the United States needs its ballistic missile submarines to remain survivable, even as detection technology improves. That is why the Columbia is not just a replacement for Ohio. It is a bet on the future of deterrence. But the cost is enormous. The United States plans to build 12 Columbia-class submarines. The total acquisition cost is estimated near $130 billion. And because the program is so important, delays are not treated like ordinary delays. A late destroyer is a problem. A late ballistic missile submarine is a strategic concern. Because if the aging Ohio-class boats retire before enough Columbia-class boats are ready, the Navy could face pressure on its at-sea deterrent patrol schedule. That is something the United States wants to avoid at all costs. The Columbia class is expensive because failure is not an option. Here is the part most people do not see. America may have the most advanced submarine designs in the world, but designing submarines and building submarines are two different things. And right now, the U.S. submarine industrial base is under serious pressure. Only a small number of shipyards can build nuclear submarines. The work is incredibly specialized. It requires skilled welders, nuclear-trained engineers, precision manufacturing, sensitive materials, complex supply chains, long-term planning, and thousands of workers who cannot be replaced overnight. The Navy wants to build Virginia-class attack submarines while also building the Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines. That means the same industrial base must support two of the most complex shipbuilding programs in the world at the same time. The pressure is intense. The Navy has wanted a production rate of 2 Virginia-class submarines per year. But the industrial base has struggled to meet that pace. At the same time, the Columbia-class is the Navy's #1 priority because it carries the nuclear deterrence mission. So the shipyards face a brutal challenge. Build more attack submarines. Build the new ballistic missile submarines. Modernize the workforce. Expand suppliers. Fix delays. And do it all while older submarines are aging out of service. This is why submarine construction has become a national security issue. The problem is not only money. Money helps, but it does not instantly create skilled workers. You cannot build a nuclear submarine workforce in a few months. You cannot replace decades of shipbuilding experience with a quick contract. The industrial base must grow. Training must improve. Suppliers must expand. Facilities must modernize. And production has to accelerate without sacrificing quality. That is extremely difficult. But if America wants to keep its undersea advantage, it has no choice. Because the most advanced submarine in the world only matters if you can build enough of them on time. For most of modern history, submarines have depended on one major advantage. The ocean is vast, it is deep, it is dark, and it is difficult to search. But the future may not be as forgiving. The ocean is becoming more monitored, more mapped, more contested, more robotic. Adversaries are investing heavily in anti-submarine warfare. They are building sensor networks, deploying unmanned underwater vehicles, improving sonar systems, using satellites, aircraft, surface drones, and seabed listening systems to search for submarines. The dream of every navy is to make the ocean transparent, to create a battle space where even submarines cannot hide. That has not happened yet. Finding a quiet nuclear submarine in the open ocean remains one of the hardest missions in warfare. But the trend matters. Every improvement in sensors makes the submarine's job harder. Every unmanned system adds another layer of search capability. Every data network helps combine clues from multiple sources. A submarine might still be hidden, but it may have to work harder to stay that way. This is why the future of undersea warfare will not only be about submarines, it will be about networks. A modern submarine may operate with unmanned underwater vehicles. It may deploy sensors. It may receive data from distant systems. It may become part of a larger undersea web. Instead of being a lone hunter, it becomes the command node of a hidden underwater force. That is where the future is going. Manned submarines will still matter, but unmanned systems may extend their reach, reduce risk, and create new ways to detect or deceive the enemy. The submarine of the future may not fight alone. It may control a pack of underwater robots. It may launch sensors into dangerous waters. It may send unmanned vehicles into places too risky for a crewed submarine. That future is already beginning, and the nation that masters it first could dominate the deep ocean for decades. This is the uncomfortable question. Are submarines becoming more important than aircraft carriers? The answer is not simple. Aircraft carriers still matter. They provide air power. They support allies. They respond to crises. They show presence. They can launch aircraft without needing land bases. They remain one of the most flexible tools in American military power. But carriers are visible, and visibility is becoming dangerous. Submarines offer something different. They are not built to show presence. They are built to create uncertainty. A carrier says, "Here I am." A submarine says, "You do not know where I am." That difference matters. In a conflict with a powerful adversary, a carrier can be tracked, targeted, and threatened. A submarine can be hidden, repositioned, and used to strike from unexpected directions. A carrier dominates the surface. A submarine threatens from below it. A carrier projects visible power. A submarine holds invisible power. That does not mean one replaces the other. It means the balance may be changing. In a world of hypersonic missiles, satellite tracking, drone swarms, and long-range precision weapons, survivability becomes more important than visibility. And submarines are among the most survivable platforms America owns. They can attack ships, strike land targets, gather intelligence, support special operations, carry nuclear deterrent patrols, and operate where surface ships may be too vulnerable. That makes them central to future warfare. Not glamorous, not always visible, not easy to film, but perhaps more important than ever, because the next great power conflict may not begin with a carrier strike. It may begin with a submarine that was already there, waiting, listening, hidden. The most frightening thing about America's ballistic missile submarines is not that they can launch nuclear weapons. It is that they make nuclear war irrational. That is the paradox of deterrence. The weapons are terrifying, but their purpose is to prevent the war that would require using them. A ballistic missile submarine on patrol is a guarantee. It tells any adversary, even if you strike first, you cannot eliminate the response. Somewhere under the ocean, a submarine will survive. And if it survives, it can retaliate. That is why these submarines are protected by secrecy. Their patrol routes are classified. Their exact locations are unknown. Their communications are limited. Their entire mission depends on disappearing. The public rarely sees them. The news rarely covers them. They do not create viral footage. They do not fly over stadiums. They do not appear in dramatic formations. But they may be the most important military machines America has, because they carry the burden of deterrence every day. A fighter jet can win a battle. A destroyer can defend a fleet. A carrier can project power. But a ballistic missile submarine helps prevent the kind of war no one can win. That is why the Columbia-class program is treated as non-negotiable. The United States cannot simply allow that mission to weaken. It must replace the Ohio-class. It must keep submarines on patrol. It must maintain the hidden leg of the nuclear triad. Because deterrence only works if the enemy believes the force is real, survivable, and ready. The submarine does not need to be seen to send that message. In fact, being unseen is the message. The future of American undersea power depends on three things: better submarines, faster shipbuilding, and deeper integration with unmanned systems. The Virginia-class gives America the hunter it needs for modern conventional warfare. The Columbia-class gives America the hidden nuclear deterrent it needs for strategic survival. But both programs face pressure. Shipyards are stretched. Costs are rising. Schedules are tight. Older submarines are retiring. Adversaries are investing in anti-submarine warfare. And the ocean is becoming more contested every year. This is why the submarine race matters. It is not as visible as fighter jets. It is not as dramatic as carrier deployments. It is not as easy to explain as missile defense. But beneath the surface, A quiet competition is happening. Who can build the quietest submarines? Who can detect them first? Who can launch weapons from farther away? Who can integrate unmanned systems faster? Who can keep more submarines at sea? Who can control the underwater domain? The answer may shape the balance of power in the 21st century, because the deep ocean is one of the last places where a nation can still hide its most powerful weapons. And if that hiding place becomes contested, the entire logic of deterrence and naval warfare could change. For now, America still has a massive advantage. Its submarine force is experienced, nuclear-powered, technologically advanced, and globally deployed. But advantage is not the same as guarantee. It must be maintained. It must be built. It must be modernized. And it must be protected from complacency. The silent service remains powerful because it never assumes the ocean will stay silent forever. America's most powerful submarines do not need to announce themselves. They do not need to sail into camera view. They do not need to launch aircraft into the sky. They do not need to make noise to create fear. They simply disappear. The Virginia-class attack submarine is the Hunter, a silent predator built to stalk enemy submarines, strike land targets, gather intelligence, and carry the future of undersea warfare inside its payload tubes. The Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine is the Executioner, a hidden nuclear deterrent built to ensure that no enemy can launch a first strike without facing a devastating response. One fights the wars that might happen. The other helps prevent the war that must never happen. Together, they form the quiet backbone of American power. But that power is under pressure. The shipyards must build faster. The Navy must modernize. The ocean is becoming more watched. And adversaries are racing to find what America depends on keeping hidden. This is the real story of undersea warfare. Not explosions, not headlines, not giant ships on the evening news, but silence, depth, patience, and the ability to wait in the dark where no enemy can confirm you are there. The aircraft carrier tells the world where American power is. The submarine makes sure the world can never be certain where American power might be. And somewhere right now, beneath the surface of the ocean, a silent giant is on patrol. No one sees it. No one hears it. And that is exactly why it may be the most powerful weapon America owns. Thanks for watching.